Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Martha Russell, and I'm looking forward to meeting with each of you this afternoon here at Cheyney State University. I must say I know much about the Cheyney history, um, and that Cheyney is the first institution of higher education in our nation to educate African American citizens, and is the oldest historically black college and university of the United States of America. And I am very pleased to read and to learn that as of June 27th, 2024, Cheyney University was removed out of remediation by the Middle States Commission of Higher Education. So kudos to all of you who worked diligently to make that happen. And hopefully today we will help you to continue to move forward and progress during the reaching the goals that all of you are hoping to reach. So it's my understanding that we're going to be working with the Department of Social and Behavior Sciences, the professors who are teaching in your department, as well as the many of your student services are collaborating with you to um, to help make these corrections and these improvements and plans for the next 3 years a success. So including, I understand, it will be the counseling and psychological services that will be with us. And I understand that according to your website, which was uh, plentiful with information, the Student Counseling Center offers individualized counseling, small group counseling sessions, and emergency services. Student walk-in sessions and collaboration of outreach with community-based groups. You're a local, you have a crisis center as well as a trauma healing program, I understand. The student accessibility services is another area that will be working with us in collaboration. I understand student accessibility is part of your Department of Social Behavior Sciences, as well as the Student Health and Wellness services there at Cheyney University. It's a campus-wide initiative where your goal is that students will gain a perspective of being healthy and wellness, because you, as stated on your website, illness means absence, and absence means missing education, and of course missing education means uh, a failure to reach positive outcomes. So we're going to turn that around and make sure we improve in that whole area of student health and wellness. So I'm looking forward to hear some of the ideas that you may have. I enjoy reading much of the program, the goals that you sent to me, and I believe they're all reachable, and you're going to be a great success at it. Other services collaborating with our effort today will be faculty from the Student Academy Success Center, the Student Academic, I apologize, Success Center services. And you have two trio programs here at Cheyney. One is for STEM, the sciences, and along with the sciences is computer science. Students who are first generation students with majors in psychology, computer science, and administration. And the other trio program, I understand, is for students who are majoring in the social and behavior sciences. Okay, so I understand that there's a new vision here at Cheyney University, and that strategic planning process that you have been working on in the past um, brought on a new vision for Cheyney, and that your Cheyney vision is focused on becoming a premier educational model where academic excellence, character development, and social responsibility, and I really believe there was a lot of emphasis on social responsibility, will be the great institutional-wide learning outcomes for your students. Now, at this time, I would like to take a moment and for all of us just to reflect on a biblical worldview on why are we here today? Why is it important for us to look at these assessments and take the assessments results, the data that has been generated, and look at ways to improve student outcomes here at Cheyney University? In the scriptures of Romans chapter 12, verse 2 reads, "Do not be confounded to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God and what is good and acceptable and perfect." So when I read the new vision and mission of Cheyney University, this scripture came to mind. I think this is a scripture that explains and enhances your mission and your vision for students to rise and improve in the areas of character development and social responsibility, as well as academic excellence. So yes, our goal and in this reflection as to staff, as you as staff, as you're the mentors and the guides for your students, is to realize that there is a biblical worldview that the scripture teaches us. It's important to not allow what the ways of the world, as many of our children have, particularly urban learners, so all learners, urban, suburban, rural learners, have a tendency as young people to allow the way of the world to shape how they think and react to and make decisions, to react to incidents, trauma, whether it's trauma or excitement, and how they make decisions based on those things that happen. So this is a biblical worldview that says to us, let's be transformed with the renewal of our minds. And that can happen. And that's what our goal is, to help students to take time and reflect and begin to think and consider those things that are good and that are acceptable according to the scriptures and that are perfect. So as to be our better selves. And that's a beautiful goal to teach our students, as well as professors and staff from student services, as well as those in leading the classrooms, to all of us to work at being our better selves. So at this time, let's talk about who are the stakeholders that are really important to the mission that we have today. Our focus today is to work with student social responsibility and to work with student character to improve the wellness of students, the mental as well as the mind, soul, and body of our students. And so if that's our focus, who exactly are going to be the stakeholders? Who will be immediately impacted by our success or lack of success? Yes, most important will be the students, our students, whether they're first generation college students or whether or not they are legacies of Cheyney University. We want to make sure that our students continue to improve. At whatever levels they are today, we want to make sure that they benefit from our educational institution. That means that their performance and their and the learning outcomes that we set, as well as some of the external uh, um, factors that are testing and measuring, that they meet them as well. And their parents. Most of our students are dependents to their parents and guardians, and nearly all of our students are residents of the college. They're residential students. They're because of the location of Cheyney. We have very few who actually are commuters. Now, another group of stakeholders are who are they? Yes, all of us here in the room, we're all the stakeholders. We care about what happens, the outcomes. We want to see things improve. And that one, and I understand here we have professors here who teach psychology, criminal justice, as well as history, social studies, the African studies, which I understand did very well in the assessment area this year. And we're going to talk about that too. Um, and as well as student service leaders in our counseling center, the behavioral health services, and student accessibility, and the student success center. Who others stakeholders are our administrators of this institution and the staff um, who are collaborating with us from other student services. Not only those who are collaborating with this effort, but the staff across the institution, our stakeholders. They make a difference, and our success will make a difference for them. And then we have partnerships to Cheyney University, who are offering various ways to help support the educational and learning processes of Cheyney. So we want to make sure those stakeholders too are given information on our outcomes and actually participate where they can. I understand there's one group that is coming in. One of the organizations, the companies are going to be participating in this effort. Working with student, it's a school psychologist, no, not a school psychologist, psychiatrist, who will be working closely with the wellness services to provide support and her ideas on how to improve the mental wellness of students. And then we have Middle States Commission of Higher Education, our accrediting organization, agency, who we report to. They are part of our stakeholders. And of course, we have political leaders, which I understand two are with us, two senators, state senators are with us today, and who are actually have been appointed to the Board of Governance of Cheyney State University. So we have many stakeholders who are looking forward to our success. So let's talk about Middle States Commission of Higher Education and the reason why I'm here and the reason why you asked me to come. As I mentioned earlier, I have been working as a consultant for Middle States Commission of Higher Education. And I worked with two Pennsylvania schools closely in the area of helping to lower the amount of student misconduct, and that was Arcadia University, surprisingly, right? And who've had tremendous success as we added restorative practices as part of their school culture. So the standards that you actually selected as your target and focus is the one that are the two that I'm going to present with you, talk about today. So we're going to utilize the two standards that was given to me from your team as the standards that you would like to see us work diligently at improving on. Standard 4 is the support of the student experience. Across all educational experiences, settings, levels, and instructional modalities, the institution recruits and admits students whose interests, abilities, experiences, and goals are congruent with the mission and the educational offering. The institution commits to student retention, persistence, completion, and success through a coherent and effective support system sustained by qualified professionals, which enhances the quality of the learning environment, contributes to the educational experience, and fosters student success. Well, that's a very high standard to live up to. And yes, we know that at Cheyney State College University, it's one that is highly attainable. And to be more specific, our keywords from this standard will be student retention, persistence, completion, and success. And those are the three words that we're going to really focus on as we set our strategic plan as to the next 3 years projections of student success. So the second standard that you shared with me is standard 5. Across all educational experiences, settings, levels, and instructional modalities, Cheyney State University recruits and admits students with interests, abilities, experiences, and goals. Okay. Now that we have established the two standards that you're concerned on in terms of improving student participation and success in, let's talk about the services that Cheyney State University offers students and the responses that we receive from students on their satisfaction with these services. So, outcomes for the counseling and psychological services. My understanding, according to your staff, and this is your goal, is that the students' satisfaction rating for counseling and psychological services will continue to increase by 5% each year. My understanding that you did achieve a relatively good percentage of 42% satisfaction by the students. So I do like the idea of continuous improvement each year. So that means that whatever you're doing with the counseling center is working, so let's do more of it. The number of student peer mentors will be increased by 30% over the next 3 years. And I understand the peer mentoring that has been the training of peer mentors by the counseling center and the employment of peer mentors has made a tremendous difference with student wellness here at Cheyney. So training of student mentors and focusing on a new group of student mentors will take place 3 times within the academic year. Excellent. Now, when it came to the outcomes for health and wellness services, we do understand that their student satisfaction numbers were in the low 30%. And our goal, your goal, is to increase their responses in both the national and local surveys that will indicate the satisfaction of students will be above 50%. That's the goal. over the next 3 years. And student awareness of and attention to personal health care will increase in areas of trauma healing, stress management, and disorders of diabetes and cardiac care. Now, what I would like to know more from your team is exactly your measurement for the student awareness and attention to their personal health care. Okay, okay, very good. So you had a focus group of students meeting. Thank you for that information. Yes, I think focus groups are great for students and uh, to share, but I do believe you can kind of get a greater, more rounded um, sampling, of course, with surveys. Um, so that will be another way to survey students, but I'm just developing that instrument, that particular survey for the measurement of trauma healing, stress management, and their understanding of diabetic and cardiac care will be very interesting. But I do think that should be a very important initiative, something that we want to get done this school year to get it to. I think it's very important to get a baseline data on that area. Okay, so now this is an area where our energy, our creativity, and our careful thinking is important. And this is the critical area that will make a difference for Cheyney State University to meet its mission and vision. The outcomes for social and behavioral science program. Number one, student conduct officers will reduce the number of student suspensions due to physical altercations on campus and in dormitories. Number two, there will be a 40% increase of students who are experiencing substance abuse disorders to proactively seek support over the next 3 years. 40%, that's um, a large goal of improvement. Number three, there will be a decrease in plagiarism by 24% over the next 3 years. And number four, student leadership and peer mentoring opportunities will increase 30% over the next 3 years. At least you have a positive to work on as well. These are very important goals, and these are very noble um, goals. 40% and increase of students who are struggling with substance abuse to seek help, proactively seek help prior to having to meet with the conduct officers. Um, the area of academic ethics is an important one, um, and um, and I do believe that there are some really important strategies that were mentioned to reach that goal in terms of your character development vision. Excellent. And the percentage of psychology majors whose laboratory science studies are featured by the National Psychological Association will increase by 12% over the next 3 years. Very gallant goal. Okay, here we have two more student services um, who has outcomes success, has outcome goals. And that's the student accessibility, your Office of Students Accessibility, as well as the Student Academic Success Center. And I understand that both areas, according to the National Survey of Student Engagement Survey, um, did score relatively low in student satisfaction by Cheyney students. So the goal here will be that the satisfaction ratings by students on the National Student Engagement Survey will be 38% satisfaction or higher score. And the second goal is that student satisfaction ratings for the Student Accessibility Office as well as the Student Academic Success Center will continue to increase at a rate of 10% each year. Okay. Okay. Now that we went through a number of your student services and along with your psychology academic goals, what are we going to do to reach some of the goals? What programs are you recommending from the Department of Social and Behavioral Sciences? And what have you done that is working that you would like to see work better? And I understand that restorative practices is one of the methods for improving student conduct outcomes. It's my understanding that 2 years ago, restorative practices was introduced to your conduct officer, and not practices. I'm sorry, restorative justice was introduced to the student conduct officers, and the number of suspensions as a result has decreased significantly. Therefore, it was recommended that restorative practices will be applied campus-wide, beginning with our incoming freshmen in 2025. Okay. Staff, faculty, and students will be trained in the principles of restorative practices. Furthermore, in our effort to enhance student character, to foster positive relationships, and to inspire a sense of community, a spirit of community at Cheyney State University, the principles of restorative practices will be taught in the first year experience programs beginning in 2025 academic year. And it will be offered as a general education elective for second year students as well.